This is one of the most remarkable sites in Africa. These are the corridors of power of an ancient African civilization. This is Great Zimbabwe.
Everybody in power wants to control history because it brings them legitimacy. The Europeans said the Africans did not build the ruins. It belonged to somebody else, the Phoenicians, the Arabs, the Queen of Sheba, anybody else except the Africans. The Great Zimbabwe was the greatest civilization south of Egypt. It carried about 10,000 people, so that was quite a large city. It was also the center of religion, and the economy of Zimbabwe, it was gold. It could be traced far back as 1100. I was raised about 10 miles away. I was obsessed with history, so I visited it as a child. There was a bus to the Great Zimbabwe, but this was for tourists. Blacks were not allowed there. But we just turn up, and if there are no white visitors, you can wander about. The structures are massive. The stones are chiseled to be exactly the same size, and they are not connected by mortar or cement. We felt in some ways deprived of what belonged to us, that we belonged to a great people, but we were oppressed by the colonial regime.
When Europeans first saw Great Zimbabwe in the 1890s, they could not believe that so imposing a structure could have been built by the ancestors of the Africans they found living there.
Zimbabwe was not built by either blacks or whites. The people who built it were Semitic. They were brown in color and were evidently the Sabaean people, who were a mixture of Arabs and Jews.
The Europeans, they were going there to civilize Africans who were in darkness, who had no history. So if they accepted that some of these Africans had these wonderful civilizations, the reasoning would fall apart.
On April the 18th, 1980, Zimbabwe became independent.
It was a great moment for us. History became important. They were going to find a new identity by going into the past. I was first a black director of national museums. I was supposed to use my abilities as a writer to write a new manual for the Great Zimbabwe, getting away from the Eurocentric interpretation so that that heritage could be reclaimed. It was one of my happiest times, but it was also full of challenges because the politicians insisted that I must say that the Great Zimbabwe was built by revolutionaries. And I refused. I said, no, there's nothing revolutionary. They were just ordinary people building as they were told by the king. They were angry with me, and I had to leave Zimbabwe in a hurry because now they were looking to lock me up. I think my life explains why history is very exciting, because look at the problems I've gone through because of my writing of history.